size of the market. Slovakia is pretty much a no-brainer for a Czech company, and we are now in a transition to the eastern countries still to decide if we set up the office in Russia or Ukraine, and again same model, project, some investigation of the market, and then starting with our own people that build a subsidiary.
Okay, if I can have an add-on question, are your foreign offices managed by local people or by Czech coming from Prague?
Well, sometimes the people come from Toronto, Canada, which was the case of Germany, but they come from the mother company. They are not hired externally. We always go through the training in Adastra or within Adastra, and then letting the person manage whatever.
Okay, thanks. Andrzej?
So as I said in the beginning, it's always a question of build versus buy. Build is cheaper probably. You can also make the company more similar to you, but buy is obviously faster. So all the four countries we are now active on abroad, Poland, Hungary, Slovakia and Germany, we have built from scratch, also greenfield investments. We have made one mistake with hiring people in Poland, where we tried to find a person speaking both Czech and Polish, so partly Czech, partly Polish, but it didn't work. So we have learned that it's much better to have absolutely local management team in every subsidiary we have. So and how we look for them, basically the same way how we look for them here in the Czech Republic. We put up advertisements, find through networks, and try to find the right one.
And your offices in foreign countries are always managed by local people?
Always managed by local people.
Mm-hmm.
There could be some help of Czech staff sent there for some training or for some transferring of know-how we have, but the management is local.
It's not a question for Michal, so Pavle.
Well, we found Andrzej before was saying that it's about learning local know-how and things, and it's all different. And we found that devil is always in details, and that what we find the hardest part is that it seems so similar that you could make an assumption that Poland, hey, it's like Czech, but they just speak funny language, it's like Czech, but it's not. It's in the little details that things are totally different. And how we do it, I had experience from my previous job trying to build an operation in Ukraine, and we did a mistake that everybody was focusing on everything, and it didn't work. And so when we do expansion right now in every country, we do it in a couple of steps. First, me and my partner, we decide if we want to go there, we evaluate the market and the possibilities, we talk to Google and other portals. And if we want to go there, what we do, we try to get local people, and we train them in our already existing facilities. So, for example, when we started Poland, we put up an advertisement in local internet servers, and we came for the first time in Katowice, and there was like 150 people sitting in the room. So it was like funny because it doesn't happen to you like every time. And we selected people, and we take them to Prague or Strava or to Katowice right now, and we train them for a couple of months, and they already do sales in the local market, which is more expensive than if you would have them in the local market, but it actually is not, because you can transfer knowledge really in a short time, which is what we need, and you can, from those people that stay, what we do, we then select people who will manage the local operations in Slovakia and Poland. So that's how we do it. And we also find one thing, and that's about if we try to hire someone who didn't grow with our company, it doesn't work. We got like 5-6 management positions, like people with really reputable CVs and people who really did something, and it just doesn't work. So we try to select people from within our company, and we promote them, and we kind of push them to grow. Because sometimes people are too lazy and they don't want to grow. But if you set the right people for the right positions, and you like a little bit kick them in their butt, they can grow really fast and really nice.
Sometimes people are lazy. Always. Okay, we have a question. Do we have a microphone over here, please?
Sure. Is that working? Yeah.
Legal question?
No, not at all. My name's Ian Parker. It's a question to Joab for Leitersdorf. You contrast your approach, which is to achieve a sort of medium-sized exit, as opposed to the more classic higher-size exit favoured by VC and private equity funds. But in fact, a lot of VC and private equity exits do actually exit at medium size because things haven't turned out quite as everybody thought they would. And I've often wondered, well, had they known it was going to exit at this size, would they have conducted the business slightly different? And what interests me to know is, during your expansion phase for your investee companies, are there features of your business model which you think clearly distinguish your sort of approach from the business model of an investee company which from the beginning is going for the higher size exit?
Thanks for the question. Ralph?
Yeah, what you say is absolutely correct. There are so many exits that end up being low exits for a lot of other venture funds. And typically, or always, venture funds will look at such exits as failures. They'll say, we exited at 30 million, it was a bad deal, and they'll be very sorry about it. Because if they exit all of their portfolio companies at that level, they'll actually be losing money. Or at least if all of their successes were at that level, they would be losing money, because the whole, they're very large funds, and they need to return a lot more capital to their investors. Our fund is entirely modeled in a way. We're a very small fund, and the whole fund is modeled in a way that these sort of exits not only produce positive returns and good returns, but they're also we also do a lot of things to make sure that they actually do happen. So we have our relationships with the strategic acquirers, where we get a very good steer as to what to get into and what not to get into, and we also have the very short holding periods, which is key. If you hold a company for 5 or 6 years and exit at 30 million, you've done nothing. If you hold a company for a year and a half, and exit at 30 million, where you got in at say 5 million, then you've done a lot. Is there a difference between sort of the companies that we look for and the companies that typical VCs look for? And yeah, there are differences, quite big ones in many cases. First of all, we don't look for companies that can be billion-dollar companies. I mean, a lot of the times, and maybe you will agree with me, when you look at a company and you say, the opportunity is not big enough, it's not going to be massive, it's just a niche, it's too small. A lot of times VCs decline companies because they think they're too niche. It's not going to be a global player, so it's not going to be a big company, a big exit for us. We actually are completely fine with niche plays. If we see a company and we think, there's a 40-50 million euro opportunity here, and the market is small and this is our opportunity, we're perfectly fine with that. So that's one big difference. The other one is that we actually listen to the strategic acquirers, and they really drive our strategy. So IPO is not really an option that we ever consider when we look at a company. As soon as we meet a company, we turn around and we get feedback from our friends at these strategic acquirers, which is a very different process. Typical VCs look at, is this a good business? Is this something that can stand on its own 2 feet? Can this grow? Can this be something big on its own? We don't look at companies like that. We look at them and say, can this be a good division of a global corporation? Is this team, are they a team that can actually be part of a large corporation? Things like that. So the criteria is different.
Thanks. That answers the question. We have another question. Yes, John. Second question of the day.
My first question is directed toward Andrej, and then I have a question